It's Monday afternoon, a little after 4 o'clock, November 8th, 2010. And we're going to take a look at the S&P 500. That is our benchmark for overall market health and direction. And this is being brought to you by freechartvideos.com, using time-honored techniques to understand modern markets. This is for educational purposes only and is not to be used as any form of investment advice. I can draw lines on charts, but you have to draw your own conclusions from your own due diligence and make investment decisions that are suitable for your financial situation. I am not a licensed professional. I'm just a guy who draws lines on charts. So let's look at some charts and some lines. Just want to start you out on the hourly chart. You can see that we've been in a channel now for over 2 months. And we are now at the top of the channel. But we are also very close to a target price that is established by an inverse head and shoulders, with that price being between 1240 and 1250. And we got some kind of interesting stuff going on today. You might look at it and say, well, the market was basically flat, down early, kind of working its way back a little bit. Just a lackluster day, but I tell you, when you look at what was going on, there's some neat stuff. So let's take a look at a little closer zoom in on this. Okay, here is the last 3 days of trading, and you can see that we were big on a gap up on the 4th, worked our way higher by the end of the day. The next day we basically wandered around, ended up essentially flat, up a little, but nothing, no great shakes. Then today, basically the same thing, just kind of flat. If you look at this at first glance, you might think, well, there's really nothing there. It's just kind of wiggling around. But let's draw some lines across some peaks and see what we end up with. Wow, look, those sure line up nicely, don't they? Look at that. Let's make this red. No, not red. Blue. And let's start on this little bottom here and draw this line up there. Now I realize we only have 2 touches here, but what's interesting is that that triangle that I just drew basically has the same upward angle as the top bar has a downward angle, and it is amazing how often you get symmetrical triangles, literally patterns where the top line and the bottom line have the same offset from the horizontal. Now, let's do this. Here's a test that I like to do sometimes to see, am I dealing with a triangle, or am I just dealing with, am I just drawing lines on a random walk here? So let's do this. It looks like I've got some support right here around a little over 1220. So let me draw a horizontal there. Now, what I think you'll see, it's kind of rising a little bit, but what you can see is there's also this line that's in the middle of the triangle that is serving as, in this case, it was resistance, then it broke, support, up to the top, support, a little rally, support, support, up to the top, hammered down, middle line broke, now it's resistance, resistance, support on the bottom line, got above the middle line, support, 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 resistance at the top line, and at the very end of the day, support on the middle line. So what does that middle line do? Well, to me, it just helps to verify or validate that this is a consolidation pattern that has developed in the S&P. Now this is the top of our channel line. This green line that I've extended is actually derived from what used to be support back in kind of an inter-channel line that ran for more than 2 weeks. If that makes sense, we've got the green channel that is rising at a fairly nice but not an unsustainable path, but then inside it we would have these smaller channels defined by the light green that would run up to the top, then they would fall back to the bottom. This one we went through a long period of consolidation, so I've extended this line because I was thinking, are we going to back test it? Well, we back tested it here, back tested it here, went sideways for a consolidation, broke up out of that. And what I'm wondering is, now bear with me, do we back test it again? If so, let's see how all of these patterns might possibly be relating to each other. Okay, we're on a 5-minute chart now. And remember what I said, this is the overall channel line that has held things in check. This is the green line that used to be support, now broken, tested twice as overhead resistance. Now, what do we know about these triangle patterns? Well, the first thing we know is that they can either be continuation patterns or they can be consolidations that lead to a higher move. And we've got, I'll be honest with you, we've got some kind of conflicting evidence here. I'm still holding, by the way, to the 1240, 1250 short-term target in the S&P. But we've got some conflicting information going on because we're up against this, what should be resistance, yet we are in a pattern that generally about 2 times out of 3 serves as a continuation. And what's really kind of interesting too is these patterns will sometimes form after a strong run up. They call them flags or pennants. And the tendency, let's measure how far this one went on the breakout. The tendency, oh, I'm sorry, let's go down here. No, that's right, that's right. The tendency is for these patterns to form at about the halfway point of their eventual move. Now I'm trying to decide where I want to call this. I'll tell you what. Let's go to this peak right here. Let's say that the breakout move was from this teal line to where we really kind of came back and started to go sideways. So I'm going to use that as one form of measuring stick. And if we add that on, we get 1245 if this pattern were to break out to the upside. So basically what's going on is we have formed a symmetrical triangle. This could, if it breaks up, then I think we head right to the 1240, 1250 target. If it breaks down, then what we do is we end up, interestingly enough, coming back for a back test of this teal line. So, do we know which way it's going to go? No, we don't. We do know that they usually continue the trend that established them. So I'm giving this better odds of being an upside break and perhaps testing this channel here for a quick kind of impulsive run to 1240 to 1250. If that doesn't happen and it breaks down, then we will almost certainly come back for a back test of this teal line right around the low 1200s, maybe the high 1190s. This red line, by the way, if we back out on it so you can see where it's coming from, I drew that red line over this peak and that peak, and that's kind of acting as if we extend it backwards, you can see that Let me grab the right tool. If we extend this line backwards, come on line, extend backwards, then we can see that there has been kind of an interchannel tendency in this as well, to where we'll have support and then resistance, 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 breakthrough. So, you know, this could, if we do break down, this could catch prices, but that would keep this pattern from fulfilling its implied move. So, make a long story short, 1240 is still 1240, 1250, still the target. Whether we get there out of this pattern in the next move up is the question, or whether we come back down and consolidate and then move up for maybe making that goal and plus a little bit in the next week and a half or 2 weeks. So it's either going to happen soon or it's going to happen in a couple weeks if this chart can be trusted. And as always, when you get a chance, come by freechartvideos.com and check out the website. I've got a really funny little editorial piece that I wrote over the weekend. You don't want to miss that. You really don't. I may not be the best writer in the world, but I was just kind of on a roll when I did this thing. And come by the website and check that out. It's pretty funny. I think you'll enjoy it. It's got some wisdom and it's got some wit. So until next time, y'all take care.